An extended Delta Force trailer was showed off just at Gamescom, and I thought we'd go through it, take a deeper dive into this trailer and to the features of the game because they've all been announced now, so we know what this game's really going to be about. So it's a reboot of the old Nova Logic franchise, which were games largely based around long-range tactical engagements. It was a hardcore, tactical, realistic franchise with extremely low time to kill, maybe even one-shot kill. And this reboot is not going to be following that format. So looking at the trailer, it shows with a remaster of the Black Hawk Down campaign from the 2003 Delta Force Black Hawk Down. And I'll say it looks pretty good. Graphics look nice, there's nice lighting. We don't really see any first-person shooter combat. We see some mounted combat, and that's about it. But it looks alright. Then we jump to 2035, which is where the multiplayer is based. And yeah, for fans of the original series, this is where everything's going to fall apart for you. It just is. We see 4 operators here, Roy, Kai, Terry, and Luna, and some gadgets that they have. We see here there's an exoskeleton, a triple blaster, which is a 4-arm mounted anti-tank grenade launcher, and then you see this Mandelbrick thing, but that seems like a intel item they need to acquire. But again, the graphics and the lighting look pretty good. A YouTube compression may not get this fully across, but yeah, I'll say it does look like a good looking game, right? The graphics look nice. We get a tiny moment here of him shooting a silenced Desert Eagle, which apparently fires rifle rounds. Hopefully that's just like a little bug and they'll get that fixed, but it's just a funny thing to see. There's this bow, which was a controversial part of the first trailer that they released because it's essentially firing out a recon arrow, something like Valorant. It feels really out of place. This guy fires 3 little drones that fly forward and deploy smoke, another operator ability. Another little thing from the first trailer was this guy powering up. We now know that this seems to be powering up his exoskeleton so he can do some Call of Duty Modern Warfare like movement abilities to run really fast. It's basically and then running through the smoke, we go straight into Battlefield 2035. And this is really what the core gameplay experience is going to be like, or at least what they want it to be like. It's not the old school Delta Force gameplay, it's Battlefield. So it's a continent away from the original Delta Force series. It's not aiming to please fans of the original games. If you are a fan of the original game, you're probably like mid-30s or older, like myself. And now it seems to just be aiming for the Battlefield and Call of Duty crowd, probably because the amount of people that play those games are a lot more than the people that play the slower tactical hardcore games. So from a monetary sense, I can see why they're doing that. It's just not pleasing fans of the original series. So looking into some of the details of the game on the website, we can see that the game does describe itself as a next-gen operator-based tactical shooter. And looking at the 4 operators we get, first off we get Roy Smee, aka Bee Colony? Honestly, what sort of fucking name is that? Bee Colony, come in! That just sounds so stupid to me. So this guy is an expert in creating tactical divisions on the battlefield and delivering precise healing shots to squad members. His special gear is a hive tech gun, able to lock onto multiple squad members and provide accurate healing shots to them and himself. So quite clearly the medic of the group even has a medic symbol on top of his picture. He has a hive smokescreen. He deploys a smokescreen with UAV hives that can dynamically change directions to alter the trajectory of the smokescreen, which is an ability we did see in the trailer. And efficient rescue. Whoever he revives gets revived to full health. So yeah, he is clearly the medic in the squad. Next is Luna Kim. Based on the symbol on her picture, seems to be more of the sniper or recon. And yeah, she is an expert in gathering extensive battlefield intelligence, executing precise long-range elimination. So yeah, the recon or sniper. Her special gear is the kinetic recon arrow, which is what we saw in the trailer, and these arrows scout targets along their trajectory, proving highly effective when fired into the air. And yeah, you can say it's quite reminiscent of Sova, I think it is, from Valorant with his bow and arrow. Volt arrows that deliver continuous electric shocks into a designated area, dealing damage over time. And smart analysis, which seems to automatically mark damaged units. So I guess this is like spotting from Battlefield. It's just with Luna, it would automatically spot people, I'm guessing anyway, when you damage them. Now there's Kai Silver, who seems to be the assault class within the group. He relies on personal skills, speed, and unyielding vigor to achieve victory. So he's the one we saw powering up in the trailer, and when he powers up, he boosts his movement speed and somehow his firing rate, and also regains health on killing enemies. And yet he has the forearm mounted anti-tank triple blaster, along with the ability to do tactical slide. So anyone that's coming from Call of Duty is probably just going to be using this guy and this guy only. Lastly is Shepard, Terry Musa, and he is more of a defensive character, and his ability is a sonic UAV, periodically unleashes wide-range sonic suppression, rendering enemies' recon arrows ineffective. So I'm wondering if that's its only use, to disable recon arrows, or if there is a suppression mechanic in the game and he can just go into an area and just constantly suppress people all around him. Could be a little bit OP based on what the suppression mechanics actually are in the game. He has a sonic trap which he can put on various surfaces, and this slows down enemies and damages them. And he also takes less damage from explosions. So I believe you won't actually play as any of these operators in the Black Hawk Down campaign, but you will play them in the two other modes, the multiplayer modes. Now first we're going to look at is Havoc Warfare, which is basically Conquest, or that's what it seems like it's going to be. But some of the messaging here is a bit off, because while you have these four operators who are quite distinct from each other, and you could say they do fill out certain roles, here it says there are 4 classes to choose from. So do you play as the operators in this mode or not? Or do you choose your operator and then choose a class? For example, you could choose B Colony with all his medic abilities, but then choose like an assault class to be this frontline guy who can just keep healing himself all the time. Maybe the wording's just a bit wrong, and instead of these 4 classes, it will be the 4 operators. Because, yeah, these operators, they do have the symbols which would largely represent the 4 classes, with the classes being assault, sniper, medic, and engineer. But it's hard to see the enemies in the trailer because of YouTube compression and it's quite fast moving. But in this sniper shot, the sniper seems to be shooting Roy. So yeah, it looks like you will be playing as the operators. Now I'm getting Battlefield 2042 flashbacks here in a really bad way. Because an early complaint for 2042 was that everyone looked the same. Because you had to choose a specialist. And these specialists are these quote unquote like unique characters, but it was just a battlefield of clones. Now with 4 operators, this is going to be even worse because there's just a lot less unique characters to choose from. Everyone is going to look the same. So what this is going to do is cause some sort of UI issue with a friend or foe identification system with just like markers above the heads, because you're going to have to be able to see who is a friendly at least, instead of just being able to look at someone and tell like, oh, they're wearing camo from the other faction, they're a soldier for the enemy faction, which is how Battlefield used to do it. You used to play as 2 distinct factions, but now it's just operators. Let's clog up the UI with extra stuff. And really, the only reasons I can see for them to do operators is to sell operator skins, and there's probably less work that goes into creating one sort of unique character instead of having a character creator that will let you actually create your own character. And I think the best game that does like character customization in this casual shooter space is World War 3. So in World War 3, you have 3 character slots. This is the character I've been playing as. This is how I set him up. And you can change the head, change different headwear to different types of helmets. And with these helmets, they will have different colors to them. Some will have unique colors, some will just have some generic stuff. I like using the Royal Beret, which is a unique item. Different face wear, which again, different stuff and different colors you can apply to them. We just set this back. Different face paint, different gloves, and these gloves again have different camo, and that applies to different chest pieces, which again will have different camo options available to them, body paint and pants. Then you can also put on a little arm patch, a flag, a voiceover, and a little sentence for a dog tag. Now in the trailers we don't see any real ADS gunplay. We see the Desert Eagle shots, a bunch of hip fire, and one sniper shot. So we don't really get to see what the gunplay is actually going to be like. And for a first person shooter, that's really important. So we have no idea if it's going to use like a bloom system from Battlefield games where bullets just randomly go over where they want, or something where it's a bit more skill based where the bullets will go where you're aiming and then you put in bullet drop and stuff afterwards. Just gonna have to wait till we can get our hands on the game. Part of me thinks they will be going down a bloom route because the trailer, at least in my opinion, seems to be really going hard on appealing to the Call of Duty and Battlefield fan base. I mean, there's tracer fire everywhere, loads of just big action and explosions and tactical sprinting. But for fans of the original series, this is probably the worst thing they could ask for. But there's one other mode, and it's called Hazard Operations. And in Hazard Operations, you will go in as part of a 3-man team into a map. You will hunt for loot, blueprints, you will fight AI, you need to get precious resources, and then reach the extraction. So it sounds like a PvE extraction mode. There's no mention of fighting any other players here, but I reckon there will be because I don't think a PvE only extraction mode will be appealing enough to anyone. Part of the whole thing with extraction shooters is the sort of thrill and the danger of fighting other players and potentially losing everything. If you're just playing against AI are going to be easier to take out. And we do get a little glimpse of this mode in the trailer. This is this moment here, which I'm going to show you. And it sounds like there's going to be some sort of economy in this mode because looking at pre-registration rewards, there's a lot of different gear to acquire. And by the way, this pre-registration is nothing for the beta, it's just a newsletter, so don't fall for it. But looking at this, there seems to be different types of bullets, lots of different armor or weapons and medical stuff. So these equipment and these items have got to be tradable in game, maybe to some vendors just to get some money or resources so you can trade for other stuff. The problem is that Call of Duty and Battlefield, they've tried extraction games. Hazard Zone for Battlefield got abandoned really early. DMZ for Call of Duty, I don't think it really gets any attention now. I don't really hear anything about it anymore. It's just all on Warzone. So is this going to be a wasted mode? It's really quite hard to get a really good extraction shooter made. Even games that are created specifically as an extraction shooter kind of fail. Look at the Cycle, that's shutting down. Marauders, I enjoyed Marauders when I first played it when it released, but the player base seems to be quite low for that. And really the only extraction shooter that seems to be doing anything is Tarkov, but Tarkov is a whole other beast in terms of just a shooter with loads of other systems and stuff tacked on top of it. So I think there's two ways to look at this game and look at this trailer and the reveal. So firstly, there's looking at it as a fan of the original series. And as a fan of the original series, I would say this is a disaster. It's a terrible reboot and it's kind of shitting on the whole series. And I wonder why bother even using the Delta Force name? Is it just to get that sort of marketing push to say Delta Force is coming back? Why not just create a new IP? Or there's the second way of looking at it, which is a general first-person shooter fan, and it does look like it could be a fun casual shooter, something to rival Battlefield mainly, I would say, and to fill that Battlefield gap until the next Battlefield, the new reimagined Battlefield, whenever that comes out. So just really something to play until that comes out, right? Now, I sit in both of these camps. You know, I want a new large-scale tactical hardcore shooter. The only game I think in that genre on the horizon is Burning Lands. And when I heard there was going to be a new Delta Force, I thought there would be another game coming into this space to rival the current main games in this space of Hell Let Loose and Squad. I wouldn't say Arma fits in here. Arma's like more hardcore, tactical, realistic. it's in its own like genre, I would say. But then when I saw the trailer for this,
disappointed!
But at the end of the day, if it releases and it's a fun first-person shooter, then it's still a fun first-person shooter. But let's have a look at behind the scenes for a little bit. So it's releasing on PC, both Epic and Steam, PlayStation and Xbox, but also Android and iOS. What the fuck? Is there going to be a separate mobile game, or is this being ported to mobile? Or is mobile the main platform and it's being ported to console PC? I mean, mobile platforms are shown first on the website. So, yeah, we gotta hope that it's either being ported to mobile or mobile is a different game, because I think porting a mobile game to PC and consoles, it could just not be good at all. And let's look at the developer. So it's Timmy Studio Group, I think that's how you say it. They're owned by Tencent, and the notable games they've created are Pokemon Unite, a MOBA game on mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, yep, that one, PUBG Army Attack, which is a mobile PUBG spin-off, which is more arcadey. Since 2013, they've made 21 mobile games and 1 PC game called Age of Gunslingers, which was a third-person shooter in 2013. All their mobile games are crammed with microtransactions, even pay-to-win stuff, which is kind of normal for mobile games, but it doesn't look good for Delta Force because it is going to be free to play. One thing also that is odd is that the creator of Delta Force and the original IP holder, Nova Logic, was acquired by THQ Nordic, who is owned by the Embracer Group, one of the biggest companies in the industry who own a crazy amount of studios. So how is Timmy, owned by Tencent, developing a game using this IP? Maybe it's just been quietly sold to Tencent in the background at some point. So for Delta Force Hawk Ops, I think it's a disaster in terms of tactical hardcore shooters, but for more casual shooters, it's looking like it could be fun. So I will play the game when it comes out so I can give you guys my opinion on it, see if it's worth playing or not. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give the video a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't. Thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.